This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. I'm telling you. Does anyone like know how to play this game? Like know how to beat the last boss? Because that's what I'm going to try and do now. You know, it's like 1:30 in the morning, and oh, sorry, small fry. No worries. Yeah, about an hour and a half. I mean, definitely, in about an hour and 40 minutes, I'll be playing a game with Lady Lilia. Yeah, well, the thing is, what happened, is that we're going to play this for the first 2 hours. And then we got to the stage where we thought maybe we could finish it in a session. Which was incorrect, because we played it for the first 3.5 hours. And so we got to the last boss. And at that point, I was just like, I was kind of done. I was like, I'm ready for a change, ready for some breakfast. So, so, we'll come back to it later, I said. Well, now he's later. That's a thing, though. That's absolutely a thing. Because if we continue the game, it's always an option. You shouldn't have any problems with. Well, I am having problems with Theos. That's the problem. The thing that is. That's precisely the issue. I tried killing him. Yeah.
Croak 10!
He did all this stuff. Don't think he does, Cyber. So. Yeah, so we can change it to story time where we can finish it. Oh, well, this is the end boss, so, if you don't want to spoil it for yourself, then... just kind of warning you. Looking for... someone's. Yeah, because if we put someone's there and there, then the rest, then we can like run down here.
Hi.
Which might be better. No, don't. Okay, we kind of have got in a better position already. Alright. So I might just... Can't save the game while in combat. Okay, fine. I wonder if there's any decent buffs that he has. I don't think he does, though. Hello, Doctor. How are you? Welcome back. Yeah, I've done Icewind Dale as a co-op LP. Let's just buff the hell out of it, everyone. Can't seem to use that on anything. Let's get that high level buffs going on. Okay, they're coming. Okay. Yeah, well, we'll do that. Immune to everything that I can do. Well, sickens.
I'm here.
Don't need that. Go into Mac! Run away into Mac! Did I have Aloth too? Can't remember. Oh, that. Okay. Oh, Gina, get up. Like an insta-kill. No, no, not there. Wait a minute, wrong one. Do that anyway. Keep doing like really. That. No, if we can even hear out the fight. Yeah, okay, so we're only fighting one of them now. Plus him. You're doing great. You're all doing great. Whoa! Okay, yeah, then he's going to go into another one. Hopefully not. Hopefully this one, not that one. Yeah, it works pretty well. They sickened or paralyzed. Yeah, okay. I'm eating potion and stuff, you know what I mean? That shows how desperate I am. I'm eating potions. That's pretty brutal. And the music stopped. That's good, isn't it? The music stopped. Oh, boy. Hello, Mind Flayer. Yeah, you missed Daggerfall. You did. Oh well, I'll watch you later. Soon got over that one.
I can't get a good shot with this.
A new species of creature has entered.
Teeves, thank you very, very much for the follow. You are now one of the Veeple.
Can't get a good shot.
You can't get a good shot. It's right there. It's right there. Great big horrible thing. Kill it. Can't get a good shot at it. No, maybe not that one. Maybe not that one either.
With this. Ready.
Okay. One down. Music's back, I think. Immune to confused. You're resistant to it, which makes sense, but you're not doing anything, so... Fireball! We need to edit you around there. That's a lot of fire. Nothing seemed to happen. That's good. Ah, boy. Okay. No, not that one. Oh boy. Ow. Yeah, that helped. That was good. Don't attack him. Need to mark. Alright. I think he's down out for the count. No, maybe not. Hmm. It's not gonna be a level priest spell, is it? Let's get crits on the go. Shades! Good. Alright, put them. Oh, wait. There?
Worth it.
Alright, fine. You gotta go. Oh, you're gonna miss the hopefully the end. Freaking hopefully. Not doing a lot of damage to it. Chaos. Oh!
Leave it to me.
It's on yourself. You cast it on yourself? You do. Need more heals. Ow. Little Edder, if you're getting hit.
Hey.
Boy. I thought we were going to do it, but I don't know if we are now. Taking a lot of damage. I don't have a lot of healing left.
Rif Uligna.
Move back and now you have to heal yourself somehow. How is he knocked out? He's all the way back there. I guess he was burning. Probably. We haven't even laid a finger on this thing. No, I haven't. I have not got this. I used all my spells. And all this does is stuff that it's
Hey.
immune to.
Can't get...
Still alive? I need something.
Ready, Watcher.
Hey.
Yeah, I was too late, wasn't it? Oh, it might...
Don't
Nope. Oh! Oh, come on. Alright, we're up. Backish, though? I don't have anything to get him back. And of course he's back up to full health. Well, this is good. Oh, okay. Alright, Velanoon. Thank you very much. Yeah, but I've also got nothing left, I think. I don't have anything left. Alright, there's major endurance type things. Right, well. But can't change it in combat, so can't actually take them out the stash. Yeah, I can't even use them, so. Meh.
Sharper.
Eh. Three damage. Hmm.
Hey.
Oh, where are you going now? That really hurts, though. That really hurts him.
Ah, thanks.
Kill them all!
Or not? Not you. Oh, he's down, that's why. Heather, stop being freaking a moron. He's back up to full health! He's back up to freaking full health! Oh, you forgot he did. Well, you know what? Suddenly we've done it.
Let's have it out!
Yeah, that does suck.
That's not very helpful.
The whole instant health thing? No, that just broke me.
That's not very helpful.
I don't care about this game enough to put up with that BS. Don't matter. Yeah, pretty much. Let's finish him with it. Oh, there we go, he's dead. Hooray. At your feet rests the body of Theos, hollow and dense wrinkles shaped by the silent shouldering of eternal burden now smooth across his colour-strained face. His soul remains still for the moment, defenseless, its energy expended in defeat. It lies sprawled across his body like a death shroud.
Your dungeon.
Altobin, thank you very, very much for the follow. Yeah, I mean, I'd almost done it, and then he just like, oh, I'm just going to heal to full health. Like, that is a cheap way to increase difficulty, having the boss do that. It's cheap. So I can be cheap as well.
That's the servant down, and the mistress still to go. A good start, worthy of being built upon.
After journeying for lifetimes, I can't imagine his failure, knowing it was all for nothing.
In his own way, Theos must have truly believed he was caring for the people of Aeora, protecting them from themselves. A shame his soul won't have a chance to reflect on his errors before it enters the wheel.
I mean, if we could have saved in combat, then I would have saved, like, once we'd killed, like, one of them, then two of them and stuff like that. But having to do all that again. Because that's like 20 minutes. Yeah.
He was good at serving his god, I give him that. He should have picked a better one. He spent his lives, more than any of us will ever know. For what? Binding the world to a lie. Could a man like that ever be redeemed?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like a really easy boss. In a way. Because the journey, I mean, because the challenge is getting there for me. The challenge isn't then beating the boss. The challenge is the journey to that point. And I think that when you get to that point, you should have the advantage. Otherwise, what the hell is the boss doing running away from you the whole time? What is he doing? Why don't he just freaking kill you, at the start of the game? May have just been... Yeah, my class was freaking useless, man. Absolutely useless. Let's explore his stall. It was like I had 5 characters and some gimp with a bow. Yeah, maybe. With a deep breath, you plunge into Theos' soul, and where in Blackenbury it had been a maze of narrow corridors and dead ends, now it is expansive and borderless, its walls crumbling into heaps like the ruins of Engwith as you pass through them. Travel what seems like ages, rushing to a known destination, a memory you glimpsed once before. At last you see it, no more than a pinprick of light at the end of a long tunnel, expanding slowly at first, then quickly as you near. It seemed like Cypher was really good for the first half of the game, maybe, but once you start coming against things that aren't particularly that easy to dominate, or confuse, or sicken, anyway, you come out of the room you are standing in now. But it is a new and pristine and filled with people, thousands of them, all turned towards the great Adra pillar and the machine that encases it. Theos stands at the machine, and you are one with him now. You look out at the crowd, at faces of shriveled old men in cherub-cheeked little girls, and mothers bouncing infants to quiet them, and fathers clasping their children's restless hands and watching you with somber acceptance. A woman with tears in her eyes gives you a small nod. Yeah, I'm not surprised. They get a buff. You turn back towards the machine. your breast constricted beneath the weight of unwanted knowledge, preparing yourself to set out alone on a journey without end. Close your eyes and open them again to find the machine still in front of you, beckoning. You take your place in front of it and place your hands upon a large mechanical disc at the base of the crystal column and speak a single word. Giant rings creak to life, building speed, setting arrays of carved draconic mouths aglow and sending tremors through the platform beneath you. You enter. The entire room shakes now with the force of the accelerating machine, all sound drowned out by its deep, deafening thrum. Brilliant tendrils of light arc outward from the pillar in all directions, and you look over your shoulder to see them engulfing the crowd, burning them brightly like hot iron. One by one, the tendrils disappear, leaving ashen effigies where people once stood, many of them disintegrated into grey heaps under the stress of the tremors. Nice. I'm still here. Yeah, I guess being able to dual class makes things a lot more flexible and such. Good, Faustkill. Good. Nothing yet, Cyber. We're still getting like flashbacks and stuff. You expected this to be quick? I am stopping, to be fair, but... You look above the Ardra pillar and a growing spherical mass has begun to coalesce atop the column where the arcs converge. It grows and pulses, translucent and bulbous like some immense chrysalis, suspended in slow rotation as though it were being spun from the arcs of light. When the last arc disappears, the spectral mass hangs. Hi, Red Cloud. Yeah, are you back? That's cool. Hope you enjoyed Rocket League. So bright, you must shield your eyes with an outstretched hand, and it seems to you as though it is looking at you. You bow your head in acknowledgement and look back up to see it melt into the pillar like warm candle wax. The pillar flares with a flash of bright as the sun itself, and then fades to darkness. The machine slows down to an abrupt halt, and when the last echo of its grinding cogs has passed, the chamber is still and you are alone. From all sides, reality begins to bend in through the memory, and you find yourself in your own skin once more, looking down on Theos' lifeless body. You sense a listlessness to Theos' soul, an overwhelming fatigue that hinders its immediate escape and makes it invulnerable to manipulation. You feel as though your victory has given you some kind of hold over it, and you're able to do with it as you please. So we can return it to the cycle. Remember this, Theos. Remember that no man can hide the truth forever, and all that you've done is in futility. Your memory shall be your penance. We can rip his soul apart. Banish his soul. Destroy all memories contained within your memory. Your memory makes you a slave to your own past. Perhaps that can't be undone, but it can be forgotten. You'll trouble neither of us any longer. Put it in a sandwich and eat it? Yikes. Yeah, let's banish his soul to Bereth Airman.
To apply the teachings of Durance would more immediately satisfy the cravings in my bones. But this is the stronger lesson, for his soul is already marked by his own hand.
Perhaps this is the best place in the world for Theos. Somewhere he can't cause further harm. Still, you eventually found the Ovara. What is a few thousand years to someone like him?
You regard Theos' soul still unsubdued, and your pronouncement seems to empower your spirit. Your will seems to you now a thick chain, and you wind it around Theos, constricting all movement, eliminating any possible last means of resistance. Call to mind the eternal prison. The vast empty cavern and its cells of Adra, vacated by souls that chose to betray themselves in order to escape the infinite abyss of hopeless self-reflection. You choose a vacant pillar and pour your consciousness into it, creating a perfect, inescapable hollow with space for one. And now you gather up Theos' soul and bear it to the pillar like some bodiless jailer conjured by justice itself. You can feel its resistance now, the abject terror radiating from it, but your bindings will not be broken. When at last it is sealed away, you begin to recede back to your center. You can almost swear you hear a distant, wordless cry for mercy. Perfect. The stillness that follows, a single word echoes through your mind, a word you spoke when you were one with Theos in ancient memory. You realize it is the word that activates the machine. Thank you very much, Altobin.
Hey.
Save it again, just in case. With your companions bearing witness, you step up to the place where Theos once stood before his people long ago. The great machine lies in front of you, idle, ready. You have seen this machine and others like it in operation. You understand how it works. It is a device for directing souls. As a watcher, it will be a simple matter to influence that direction. Though as big as the machine is, it may be the last thing you ever do. Yeah, people want to talk to me. Oh, of course people want to talk. Yeah. Oh. Oh, man. Of course they want to talk. Oh, okay. Oh, they want to talk. Alright, Edda, let's talk.
Theos, he had hold of your soul from a long time back, seems like. You get
I
what
like
you
the
needed
fox.
from him?
Gotta ask another question.
Oh, those can be hard to come by. I feel for people still looking for theirs. Easy to see what it means to them to have someone to look to for answers.
I haven't had a lot of caffeine at all. But I got some Lucasade Sport. I might start digging into that. Oh, that's good, I think. That is a good thing. Alright.
You'll be feeling better soon then. Good. That's real good. You got it figured out what you're going to do about all that?
Not yet.
Got a lot of people out there thinking they've been abandoned by their gods. There's not much that'll put the fear in you more than that. You can take my word for it.
Yeah, I haven't had much caffeine at all. I very rarely even bother. During these things. Try and keep off the sugar and stuff like that. Eternity. Nice, FK.
If it was in my power, and I know it's not, but if it was, I'd send every last one of those souls right back where they were supposed to go in the first place. So folks could get back to believing what they used to. And after what you've been through, though, I'm sure you got your own ideas. Better make it good.
Okay. So they all have opinions about what to do with the machine. Alright, Joannes.
Ah, the end of the road greets us at last. You fared well, Watcher. Better than any Watcher has right to. Seems you were a field in need of a flame's cleansing. Would that my own trial had produced such an outcome. I had figured myself for the field all this time. But you were the field, and I the darkness. A lesson neither of Durance nor of Margarin. But with that trial's end, a new one begins. A god's trial. And I will stand in judgment without mercy.
Blimey. Hi, Sigani.
Never thought I'd see something like this in my travels. Lends a little perspective, doesn't it? All of these notions of who we are, what shapes us. None of it really matters, does it? And yet, if we could heal these broken families, I suppose our journey would be worth something.
Thank you for traveling with me.
I'd probably still be twiddling my thumbs by the side of the road if you hadn't come along. Thanks for bringing us this far.
Astounding. I always knew the Leaden Key stood for something big, but I didn't quite realize what I'd gotten myself into. And now, you're in the middle of something even bigger. With a decision that will affect millions. But even if you send the souls somewhere specific now, who knows what the next turn of the wheel will make of them? We can't really control what happens to them. Nor should we try. I had to see the monster Theos had become to realize that.
I don't think I'll leave something as important as this up to chance.
It's your decision, of course. And whatever you decide, I'm glad our paths crossed in Gilded Vale.
Long time ago. Not really, it was. It was a long time ago. I remember it. Long freaking time ago. I wonder if I can actually... Yeah. 28th of, January. Yeah, so we're talking like... What, in 16 months ago? Yeah.
So much for Theos, then. Now you have a chance to set things right, back to the proper order of things. It will take the Deerwood generations to recover, but at least these souls will find their way back to the wheel, as it should be.
Alright. Yeah, it has. I thought it'd been longer than that, but I guess I played it quite a lot before last year's charity stream, and then it just kind of like fizzled out, say about June time. There's a shrieking of stone grinding against stone as old cogs loosen and begin to turn. You have only moments before the souls will be sent into the Adravane. This will be your only chance at redirecting them. So back to the reincarnation cycle. Return the souls to the bodies they were intended for. Disengage the souls ending their existence. Distribute the essence to existing souls in Direwood to strengthen them. So, I'm curious, like, in Pillars of Eternity 2, one of these choices must have been made. So, it's not really going to affect my decision that much, but... Does anybody know which one is canon? You can... you can pick! That's really good! Because, you know, like in Deus Ex, at the end, there's 3 choices to choose from about how the game ends, pretty much. And then in the second game, Mankind Divide, Invisible War, It's none of them. It's like a combination of all of them. It's really weird. Yeah, no, I'm sure you port your character over, but I assume that they, they decide, right, well, he picked that one, or whatever. That's why I was kind of like, because Edda wants me to do it as well, and he's like been with us the longest, and, let's return them to where they were intended for. You close your eyes and expand your perception outward, taking in the immense totality of the tens of thousands of souls orbiting the chamber. Your grasp on the souls is tenuous. You find yourself fighting to keep them all within your influence, and you can feel them slipping away from you as the machine gains speed. Won the game. A brief moment comes when it feels as though you hold them all at once, and their force is so great that it feels as though they will tear you apart. In that moment, you dedicate your entire being to bending their orbit, channeling their flow in a new direction.
At your command, the ancient device became your instrument, spinning to life with deafening resonance and gathering up the swirling essence like thread on a great spindle. There, in the pale, pulsing glow of the machine that set you on this path long ago, you summoned all your strength, focusing on your objective and blocking out all else. With a single concussive blast that rocked the chamber and sent you tumbling to the ground, you freed the souls from their stasis. Exhausted, your consciousness slipping away, your last sight was of the machine, dark and dormant. Then your eyes closed, and sleep welcomed you at long last. After coming to and searching for some time, you discovered the route Theos used to enter Sun in Shadow, and embarked on a long and arduous ascent back to the surface. You emerged in Ter Evron after days of tunneling through the rubble Theos had left behind, and when you stepped into the daylight, you were faced with a different Deerwood than the one you had left. At your direction, the souls diverted by Theos were guided back to the vessels originally meant for them. For the first time, parents of hollow-born children woke to the cries of their infants and looked into their eyes to see them staring back. People fell to their knees where they stood, thanking Helia or Mogren, or even Aethys for their forgiveness of whatever guilt they felt they bore. But for all the relief that had come to some parents, others only found new grief. For many thousands of Hollowborn had died during Wideone's legacy, many by their parents' own hands. For those children, there would be no homecoming. Yet the last Hollow birth was in the past now, and those parents willing to risk trying for a new child were frequently rewarded, often with twins. Many felt they saw Helia's hand in it, and the year would be remembered as the year of Helia's splendor. Gilded Vale remained under the harsh rule of Lord Radric, who reigned unopposed after the death of his cousin Kolsch. He continued to terrorize the people of Gilded Vale, looking for Aerthasians in their midst. But to Radric, the sudden and unexpected end to Wideone's legacy came as a sign of the success and righteousness of his efforts, and in time, his own people came to believe it too. He relaxed his use of authority, no longer seeing his own people as potential threats, and Gilded Vale began to regain some of its old luster. Following the assassinations of Duke Avar Wolfgren and Lady Webb, Defiance Bay was thrown into political upheaval. In the ensuing weeks, the streets had become the domain of looters and blackguards. Few dared to step outside their own doors alone or unarmed. But order was soon re-established by the Knights of the Crucible, who, despite their depleted numbers, had gained favor in the public eye for their role in unraveling Wideone's legacy. They were quickly reinforced by returning forces from Fleetbreaker Castle. Having seen both the ills and the promise of animancy, internally the Knights quietly began a more cautious exploration of the new science. Depleted in numbers but bolstered by their newly forged stock of soul-augmented weaponry and a small contingent of forged knights, the Knights of the Crucible would soon become an order few in Defiance Bay would dare to cross. But the opportunity to build upon their newfound power proved too great a temptation for the High Justice. What was at first a measured approach to animancy soon gave way to a rapid buildup of armaments. The High Justice would eventually seize control of the city for his order and place Defiance Bay under indefinite martial law. The destruction of the machine atop Ter Noaneth spelled the end of the reanimated corpses in Heritage Hill. Though at first few were willing to venture into the abandoned district, it was soon cleaned out and rebuilt. The district's horrors still fresh in people's minds, it would be some time before it was fully repopulated. But eventually the lure of cheap prime land would all but erase the memory. The Duke's assassination at the apparent hands of an animancer had caused catastrophic rioting in the streets of Defiance Bay. But those who had escaped the melee in the palace hearings remembered the testimonies of the strange guest who had shown up that day and absolved animancy.
That was last year.
The leaden key instead. The rumor spread quickly, and soon the popular belief was that the assassin had been a leaden key spy. When the legacy had lifted, people came to see it not as a sign that the riots had been according to the god's wishes, as Theos had hoped, but as a confirmation that animancy had never been the source of the problem in the first place. Deerwoodans instead convinced themselves that the riots had somehow purged Defiance Bay of leaden key spies, and that the end of Widewind's legacy was their well-deserved reward. The rage against animancers was quickly forgotten, and those who had survived were permitted to return to Brackenbury Sanitarium and rebuild it so they might resume their studies. The fortress of Cadnua emerged as a bastion of security in the midst of an untamed land, becoming the envy of every Thane and Earl in Deerwood.
Yeah.
Legend grew over time of its impregnability, and stories of formidable invaders easily scattered by the keep's defenses became popular around the hearths of Deerwoodinians. Likewise, it also became a beacon to travelers, merchants, and visiting dignitaries alike. Reputed as the finest fortress in all Deerwood, people would journey from near and distant lands alike to experience its fabled hospitality and grandeur.
Like it.
The Audra dragon, known as the Master
Oh, we
Blade,
don't talk about
whose
that.
soul now housed in the body of the huntress Fallen Roet, passed out of Deerwood in relative anonymity, her final destination unknown, even to herself.
I'll see you, Pike.
She was last seen in the port town of Rhodes End, boarding a ship, an Audra talisman glowing about her neck.
Thank you for joining.
Palagina
I appreciate
had gone
it.
against the Duke's Bell's orders by inventing a new trade arrangement with the Anamenfath to accommodate the recovering Deerwooden market. With the Deerwood's people still weakened by Widewind's legacy, the Valian Republics easily pushed their would-be competitors out of the market. For her outrageous insubordination and audacity, Palagina was banished from the Republics. She traveled north in the Eastern Reach, avoiding Valian ports and entering the ranks of the kind wayfarers. Despite her bravery and dedication to those in her care, her strange appearance made her feel like an outsider wherever she went. Adair chose not to return home to Gilded Vale. Through a number of quiet inquiries, he soon found his way into the underground organization of Aethasians known as the Night Market. Ironically, in learning that the gods had been fabricated, Adair found his faith in Aethus renewed, and that his god was neither alive nor truly a god had become irrelevant. He rose quickly through the ranks of the Night Market for his optimism and for his bold leadership, his ultimate goal to make the Deerwood a place that would welcome followers of the Shining God once again. When the dust settled in Sun and Shadow, Aloth looked upon the remains of Theos Ixarchanon, his former master. He saw where the Grand Master had gone wrong and what would be required to undo the harm Theos had wrought. With a flick of his wrist, he burned Theos's robe, headdress, and every other symbol of the man's power. Never again, he vowed, should Kith live in fear and blind obedience to an authority they did not understand. Armed with the knowledge and courage he had gained on his journeys with the Watcher, he set out on the long and lonely task of dismantling the Leaden Key. With the Watcher's goals accomplished and his own vows fulfilled, Kanorua sailed back to Tekoa. His friends and family found him much changed, for a pall had fallen upon the man, smothering his former enthusiasm. Called before the Lore College, Kana told them of the pain the Engwithan legacy brought to the lands abroad. He insisted that a search for answers abroad could only fragment the Rawatai people, as it had done to the Deerwood. His findings were met with much respect, and Kanarua's voice came to be considered an influential one in the growing move towards Rawatai's isolation. With Theos defeated and the souls released from sun and shadow, healthy children were born once again in the Deerwood. The grieving mother sought a place where she might do penance for the birthing bell. She returned to Deerford, where, to the astonishment of the villagers, she delivered the first healthy child in over a decade. She remained there, and with each new birth, she saw a measure of hope restored to the Deerwood, and a measure of grace for her own trouble.
Yeah, we didn't see much of her because she was a watcher like us.
Used Margren's strength
Cypher.
only until Theos had been cast from the world, and then swore off her influence entirely. Regret came to weigh heavily on his mind, and a man who had never previously lacked for words or opinions came to embrace silence and contemplation. He continued to wander, penniless and destitute, searching now not for the reason for his goddess's silence, but for a mechanism for revenge. The charred robes he continued to wear as a reminder that he had been burned by his goddess, and not just by the flames of the Godhammer. After 5 years of searching for Persak, Sagani's 4-month journey home felt longer still. The Deerwood, Aer Glonfoth, the Valian republics became places on a map, endless expanses of green between her and Nasitok. Her homecoming was celebrated by all of Masuk, yet it was the reunion with Kalu and their children that truly brought her joy. She relinquished her role in the long hunts, and ever after, she and Itumak spent their days working in the village and their nights at her hearth. She watched her own children and their children grow and thrive. When she finally passed, she lay surrounded by the affection and tears of 5 generations. For you, the death of Theos brought an end to your waking visions and a silence to the whispers of the past. In their absence, you were able to sleep. The questions of a distant lifetime ceased to trouble your soul. All that remained was what to make of the answer. But at the moment, there was little to be done, and the matter would have to wait. A long journey loomed ahead.
That's not me. Where's my horns? It's too tall. Okay. That is pretty much it, isn't it? So we had to cheat the final quest, the final boss, which is a shame, because the rest of the game wasn't really that much of a challenge. I got through all the way through the endless paths without really much trouble at all, and then you meet the Adder Dragon at the end, and that's tough, but alright, it's optional. So it's cool. That's like the challenge fight, if you like. It's like Watcher's Keep, if you like, or Durlag's Tower. But yeah, it suffers again from the, I feel like, overly difficult boss fight that the Baldur's Gate does as well, where suddenly you're kicking everything's ass and you get to the end boss fight and it's really, it's like woomph, you know. Did I kill the other dragon, the Sky Dragon? Did I kill the Sky Dragon? Don't remember. I remember it. I remember like where it was. Something about eggs and things like that. It was a long time ago. Yeah, that was without that health regen. You know, it would have been. I'd have probably tried to go for it. But suddenly it's like, he's back to full health. Like, you know, it's like, oh, come on. They're both Theos. Yeah, I suppose, yeah. And of course I didn't do the... That's good. That's good. Alright, thanks. Glad you guys kind of understand that. I mean, one of the best bosses in any game ever, I feel, is, you know, with the dialogue boss, is in Planescape Torment. I think that's perfect. Cheers, Rube. I appreciate you sticking around. It's very good of you. So the game itself, you know, I mean, it's great. You know, I mean, as I've said before, the design of it is fantastic. Like, the interface is great. The quality of life things, the stash, the speeding up and slowing down thing. Everything's really responsive. It's really nice looking. It's well written. The journal's really good. I love the way that you learn about monsters as you kill them. Building up your castle is really good. Crafting's really good. You know, it's a really, really solid game. But I never loved it. I never. You know, there was a time that I was really enjoying this. I guess just the bleakness of the whole thing kind of wore me down. Yeah, I don't want to really play it. I suppose that the thing about the game is that it never made me smile. Like, Torment made me smile. Baldur's Gate makes me smile. This game never made me smile. I think that's what it was. Is that I never cracked a smile playing this, really. Apart from there was very few exceptions, like Ed is saying, "Can you do that again?" Because it was, you know, something in my eye. You know, that was funny. Those needs to be more of that. You know, it doesn't have to be slapstick, but yeah, I suppose, you know, what the game really lacks, I suppose, was just a bit of fun. yeah, I guess so. Because you know, there's very little to find fault with. You know, like I said before, it's a little bit wordy. The world that it creates is maybe too not complex, but, you know, like the word, the vocabulary is overly complex. Yeah, it's sweating, but it takes like 3 lines to say he breaks out into a sweat, you know. And there's so many different things in the game. Like, there's so many abilities. It's really hard to get you to wrap your head around everything. And I'm sure that you know, it just fix it. Yeah, it could be more succinct, yeah. But it's very hard to, you know, these are sort of like nitpicky little things. But I think the main thing, like the main thing, is that it didn't make me smile as much as maybe it should. Like, you know, the interaction with all the characters, and the fact that, you know, you've with Theos in the past, and the whole things with Lady Webb, and then, you know, I really liked the story in the village with that guy who'd kidnapped his niece and things like that, you know, and that was really grisly but very kind of intriguing. And you know, all the bodies that were coming in that section of the city. I might. But yeah, it was so, you know, I've got a lot of good memories of it. You know, the lighthouse with the shrieky type of things in them, and all that kind of stuff. You know, it was all good. It was all memorable. But it was all, like, when I look at it, it was like just this never-ending sort of bleakness that really permeates through everything. Which I guess, you know, just made me kind of like just not really feel that. Yeah, it's a very mournful game. It is. But it's very hard to you know, find fault with it on a mechanical level. I don't know, maybe. I want to play Tyranny. I think that's next on the list, because at least that like kind of like knows what it is a bit more, in a way. But I mean, look here, how you can even like just speed up the credits. You know, it's like stuff like that, and you can stop them. That's brilliant. You know, all these little things they put in there to, you know, the way you can compare items and stuff. Like the interface is flawless. It really is really good. You know, how the crafting was so simple, and you could just do it like, you know, and just off the fly type thing. It was really good. Yeah, it was just a bit, you know, just not fun enough, I guess. Just wasn't funny enough for me. But I did finish it. Like, you know, it was funny enough to finish, but not funny enough for me to love it and want to do it again, if you see what I mean. Yeah, Tyranny's shorter. Yeah. And that's going to be the next kind of you know, isometric type of chop down thing that I want to play with Tyranny. I was going to do Tyranny before this because I knew that Tyranny was shorter than this, but for some reason, one day we just started this on stream. Torment seems like one of those games, you know, the Tides of Numenera. Just seems like a, again, way too wordy. If you like. I don't know. It doesn't. There's something about it that's just a bit try hard, I suppose. In a way. There's going to be a lot of names on this. I don't know. Torment was, I mean, I keep raving about Torment, but I haven't played it in like 8 years. So, yeah, we're just on the... we're on the bees now. I guess these are the Kickstarter backers. A lot of Brians. A lot of people called Brian in the world. Yeah, Neverwinter Nights was, but look, you can do this. You can speed it up by like 4 times. Look at that. Yeah, people keep talking about Kingmaker. Time constraints. Ugh. Pretty much, isn't it? Is anyone's name? Is it like I could slow it down? We've got time. Yeah, I never got on with Neverwinter Nights. I tried it, you know, co-op with Alunra way back in the day, and we played it for long enough before we sort of realised that it was just too plodding and repetitive, and you know, just yeah, we just gave up. We just gave up. Yeah, and we played the original campaign, and you know, it was just, everything just seemed so slow and so, You know, so much work. I heard that the expansions were much better. Yeah. Oh yeah, the soundtracks again. Yeah, it was like I said from a mechanical standpoint. You know, Pillars of Eternity is probably one of the best games I've ever played. You know, in terms of the way that it works. Oh, yeah, she's on the front cover, isn't she? I don't know why she's called. Aribeth. That's it. Yeah, it's like, let's just expose our entire chest, pretty much. The bit that the enemy wants to stab the most. Let's have that just bare. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. It just fizzled out. It just wasn't, you know, wasn't very good. Just wasn't a great game. Hey, look. It's red. Yes. Hi, Pakili. How are you? So that's Pillars. Well, we wanted to finish it, and we did. You know, I don't. I just didn't want to stomach doing the whole 20-minute fight again. Digging through my inventory for every potion and buff that I can find. Ugh. Thank you, Silica. Like I think, like, you know, I did the fight well enough. Yeah, okay, people are saying Pillars 2, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to like want to invest in something like that when I, you know, was so lukewarm about this one. Oh my goodness. Alright, there's less of these. Yeah, the game was pretty long. I wonder if I can see how long I've played it for. I did do a couple of playthroughs, very short playthroughs. 79 hours, so I reckon about 70 hours. I don't think I'd made it much far into the much further into the. I know where I'd made it actually. First playthrough. It was in the first dungeon, the first town. Where where you meet Edda and Aloth, and you go down into the tombs there. That was as far as I'd got before I started playing this playthrough. So this was easy 75 hours. Well, we did it. We got there. Hooray. Ah. Good. Ah. Thank you, Pikeli. I appreciate it. Right, okay, well, I guess I'll stop recording then. When we return on the V-Streams, we will be playing Probably Victor Vran, I guess, as far as I know, with Lady Lilia. That'll be happening in about 20 minutes in real time. So we could just have a bit of a chat and stuff till then. But if you're watching on the V streams, hope you enjoyed that 10-hour credits, and I'll see you later.